Sports Radio Network. And here's your host, Chris Barrett.
Hello, Skyhawk fans, and welcome to the first edition of Hawk Talk on the Skyhawks Sports Radio Network. Today we're going to recap the boys' 79-41 sectional semifinal win last night over the Wayne Pioneers. Skyhawks come into the game with a overall record of 15-6, the number one overall seed in the section, and ranked 8th in the Class AA rankings. Wayne, which beat Tulsa 63-47 last Saturday, moved into this semifinal matchup, comes in with a 12-12 overall record. I spoke last night with Coach Cabell before the game, and this is what he had to say.
All right, I'm here with head coach Nick Cabell of the Skyhawks. Coach, you come in at 15-6, ranked number 8th in AA. It's sectional time. Pretty much all records are thrown to the side. You're seeing a team for the third time. Explain, does that make it more of a struggle, or do you feel more prepared?
Anytime you can see a team 2 or 3 times, or it being the third time, I think it's a little bit better simply because of technology. You got film sessions that you can look at, you can break down what they're going to do. Gives you a better idea of what to expect. Now sometimes if you were the underdog, you might not want to see them, or you want them to see you because you might be able to throw something new at them or catch them off guard with something. But I think, the way that we're able to prepare for them and try to break them down and let our kids know what to kind of expect and what they're going to see out there tonight, I think it's definitely better for us.
You come in winning 9 of your last 10. You got a lot of momentum coming into sectionals. Explain, does that make it a lot easier to come out and play loose?
Maybe. Also, when you're ranked, top 10 in the state going into sectionals as the 1 seed, there's a little bit of pressure there too to perform and keep rolling like you have been. Our guys have been here before, so that's a good thing. I don't think that they're tight. I don't expect them to come out tight tonight. But you never know with kids. Sometimes they'll come out, they'll play great. Sometimes they come out and they lay an egg. And the only bad part is about tonight is they come out and lay an egg. Our season's done. We'll be turning in uniforms tomorrow. So I really tried to stress that more than anything, and just that we've got to outplay Wayne. I mean, we've got to play harder than they do, and we've got to do the little things it takes to win, or our season's going to be cut short.
Wayne, they had to beat Tulsa to get into this game. What can you expect from the Pioneers tonight?
Well, they're going to come out and they're going to play hard. I mean, they're going to get after it. They're going to dive on the floor. They're going to try to rebound get to every ball that comes off the backboard. We've got to match their intensity and match what they're going to try to do on the defensive end, and then just execute our sets. If we can execute our sets and do the things that we need to do, get the ball where we need to get it in position for us to have good opportunities to score, and we have to take care of the basketball. If we take care of it and we can out-rebound Wayne, I think that we can come out here with a win tonight. But if we throw the ball around and we have turnover after turnover and they out-rebound us, probably look for Wayne to move on to the sectional championship.
All right, Coach, we appreciate it. Those are your keys to the game, and we'll be talking to you after the game. Good luck.
Okay, thank you, Chris.
And we'd like to thank Skyhawk head coach Nick Cabell for that interview before last night's game. Coach Cabell elaborated on 3 things the Skyhawks needed to do. They needed to match Wayne's intensity, cut down on their own turnovers, and they needed to out-rebound the Pioneers in order to come out on top. Let's see if their game plan was able to come out and they were able to be successful on the floor. After winning the opening tip, the Skyhawks went to work quickly, and after 5 quick points from junior guard Eric May, the Skyhawks, through tough defensive pressure, were able to force the Pioneers to call a quick timeout just 3 minutes and 41 seconds into the game as the Skyhawks jumped out to a 9-2 lead. Out of the timeout, the Skyhawks began pressuring the Pioneers even more and really forced the Pioneers into multiple turnovers, and the Skyhawks ended the first quarter with a 19-6 lead. More of the same in the second quarter from the Skyhawks as they didn't stop their defensive pressure and added great passing that led to open looks, and the Skyhawks' ability to get offensive rebounds led to numerous second chances around the basket. The Skyhawks will go on and finish the second quarter with a commanding 33-13 halftime lead. At halftime, Scott's center Anthony Sigmund led all scorers with 12 points, while Scott's senior Nick Kuhn and junior Eric May each had 5 points at the break. Wayne senior Nathan Earl had 5 points at the break for the Pioneers. Skyhawks came out in the second half with the same intensity and fire that they did to open the game, and just 1 minute into the second half, senior guard Cody Brown stole the ball from a Wayne Pioneer player and was able to find 6'6" Anthony Sigmund on a fast break, and Sigmund brought the Skyhawk faithful in attendance to a thunderous roar after he threw down a two-handed slam and was fouled in the process. Sigmund would go on to miss the free throw, but Skyhawks would use that momentum to continue their dominance and push their lead to 61-24 heading into the fourth quarter and cruising to a 79-41 win over the Wayne Pioneers. Junior Anthony Sigmund led all scorers with 18 points and added 13 rebounds on his way to a double-double. Sophomore Patrick Underwood had 11 points for the Skyhawks, all coming in the second half. And senior Nick Kuhn added 9 points as the Skyhawks' top three scorers. For the Pioneers, senior Brett Justice had a Wayne team-high 15 points. After the game, I was able to catch up with Skyhawk head coach Nick Cabell, congratulate him on his big win.
All right, I'm here with head coach Nick Cabell after the 79-41 win over the Wayne Pioneers. First off, Coach Cabell, congratulations on your win.
Thank you. Boys worked hard. They prepared well. We knew what they were going to do, and the boys, they executed the game plan pretty well. So hats go off to our team.
Yeah, Coach, from the get-go, it looked like you really put your foot on their throat by your defensive pressure. Elaborate a little bit on that.
Well, they were missing the starter tonight. I'd say most people in the building tonight didn't know that. I think he was ill, and that was one of their guards, the one that helps them handle the basketball and get up the floor. So when we saw that, when we got here, we emphasized that we want to put a little more pressure than normal on them. And starting out of the gate, Cody, Eric, and Brandon did a great job of that. Then Kirk came in and did an even better job of it. I think that the pressure did make a big difference. Whenever they were calling their offenses, our guys were calling their offenses, and the boys studied what they did, and the boys knew where they were going, on about every offense they called. So you got to give credit to our guys. They did their homework. They did what they needed to do to win, and they did an excellent job at it.
Your center Sigmund, he come up with big tonight. He had 18 points, 15 rebounds. I think the big key that I've seen, at least, was the non-offensive rebounds. I think he come up with 10 points off of putbacks. Could you elaborate on the way he played tonight?
I'll tell you what, when Anthony comes and plays like he did tonight, he did the same thing at Nicholas County. We're a hard team to beat. I mean, when he makes his presence known in the paint and is as active as he was tonight on the offensive end and the defensive end, I mean, he's a hard kid to handle. He's 6'6", 6'7". You can't teach that. He's got the size, he's got the length, and whenever he got that dunk tonight, that was a perfect cap off whenever he came out of the game because he played so well. He deserved that. I think that might be the first one he's had in a regular season game or a not summer ball or whatever, but when he plays like that, we're going to be tough to beat, and I think and I hope he continues to play like that throughout the postseason.
I know in a game like this, especially defense or rebounding is important. Was that an emphasis tonight? I know you out-rebounded them by a significant margin. And talk about a little bit how that helped out and also pressuring the ball.
Yeah, well, if you remember our pregame interview, I said if we let them out-rebound us, we're going to be hurt and they could probably move on. And we did. I think at least our stat guy had 48 to 20. So our bigs did an excellent job, and even our guards, at finding their guys, getting a body on them, getting position, and then coming out with the basketball. I wasn't real happy with as many offensive rebounds as they did get, but you can't be too picky over a win like that. And, I want to give credit before it's over here to our scout team because they did an excellent job as well at preparing for what Wayne was doing and what they do. And if they hadn't done that, our varsity only guys wouldn't have been able to prepare for the game. And they got to play there at the end, and I think that they deserve that for all the hard work they put in as well for this first sectional game.
All right, there it is from head coach Nick Cabell. Congratulations on the win, and we'll look forward to seeing you Friday night.
Thank you, Chris.
Again, congratulations to the Skyhawks and Coach Cabell on their win against the Wayne Pioneers tonight. The difference in this game, and I've got to applaud Coach Cabell and his coaching staff, because if you remember in his first interview, the pregame interview we played for you earlier, he emphasized that they needed to match Wayne's intensity, they needed to cut down on their own turnovers, and they needed to out-rebound the Pioneers. And in all aspects, all three aspects, they were able to do that. They out-rebounded the Pioneers 48 to 20, including 17 offensive rebounds. The defensive pressure from the Skyhawks hounded Pioneer ball handlers. The Skyhawk defenders were able to come up with 8 steals. That's including 4 from senior Cody Brown. The Skyhawks were everywhere tonight. You know, at times they looked like they had 10 people on the floor covering the Pioneers, and it was fantastic to see their defense show up tonight and play the way they did. The Skyhawks will now turn to their attention to the Chapmanville Tigers, who edged out the Mingo Central Miners in the late game at the Logan Fieldhouse. The Hawks and Tigers have played twice this year, and they have split, each winning on their home floor. Chapmanville beat the visiting Skyhawks back on January 3rd, 57-55, while the host Skyhawks pulled out a 57-52 win in Madison on February the 7th. You can always look for 2 things between these 2 teams when they get together: a lot of intensity and great basketball. And I expect the same thing on Friday night when these 2 teams duel it out for the sectional title at the Logan Fieldhouse. We'd like for you to join us Saturday as we recap the sectional title game between these Chapmanville Tigers and these Scott Skyhawks. And until next time, I'm your host, Chris Barrett, for the Skyhawks Sports Network.